Hey, how's it going? Gonna talk about the Protection Paladin. This was one of my favorites coming up. It was one of my first classes playing when I started playing WoW 8-9 years ago. And it's been a staple, class in my lineup ever since. This is my one and only level 100 Alliance character because I don't know if you've been able to tell, but all my stuff's been Horde. But that's the joy of this game. You can go back and forth and play how you want. So I'm going to go over just how I always do. We have our talents. Now, Paladin, I think, has some of the best choices when it comes to talents. It's actually somewhat difficult in some cases to choose which one you want to use. So even for level 15, it's all movement based. I like Pursuit of Justice because it's a passive 15%. I don't have to do anything. Just Judgment's movement speed by 45% for 3 seconds. I'm probably already in a fight then. Speed of light, 45 seconds. Cooldown, it's a good. It's a sprint, just like using sprint on a road. I like having the 15% passive. Level 30, it's all crowd control. Fist of Justice is basically just cutting your Hammer of Justice in half, your cooldown in half. That's literally what it does. Repentance, I like that because it's a good pre-pull CC. You can throw it on someone and then do your pull the way you want to. Blinding Light, I played with it some in its early life, and it's okay if you can do it, but disorienting everyone for 6 seconds, really all that's going to do is you're not going to be getting hit as much. And if your DPS isn't paying attention and just start, they're just cleaving away, they're not going to stay disoriented for the whole 6 seconds. So, almost seems pointless. Level 45, it's all about some kind of self-preservation. Selfless Healer is okay. You're going to reduce, you can basically get a free flash of light. And a free instant flash of light, but it's really meant you can get that 20% bonus to using on other people. It's kind of good to smack a heal on someone else real quick. It comes in handy using it on yourself, but your heals aren't that strong as a tank, so it's almost like a wasted ability. Eternal Flame, same problem. It gets the boost from Bastion of Glory, so that helps. But it's a hot now that's on top of you. I mean, yes, it's increased by 50% casting yourself, but now instead of just a big heal, it's a decent heal and a hot on top of you. Again, it comes in handy. Not a bad thing to start using if you can get like a high multi-strike to where your heals are stacking on each other. That can help, but I'm not a huge fan of it. I like using Sacred Shield. I can hit it, and then for 30 seconds, I'm going to keep getting a bubble to heal me just for a little bit. It might take a punch to the face or reduce some damage I'm taking from auto attacks. It's just one less thing I have to think about. Every 30 seconds, I can just put this back up, and I know it's gonna take care of itself. Level 60 is a pretty good group as well. Like I said, all the Paladin talents are really well made. Blizz loves Pallies. A Hand of Purity, not too bad, getting that 15% reduction as well as 80% damage over time. Not bad. It's just one more hand ability to use. I think the Paladin has a pretty good tool belt of hand abilities. Unbreakable Spirit, that is a very good ability if you're not so much worried about helping other people survive damage so much as you're worried about yourself, because you can use your Divine Shield? Divine Protection, look at me go. Divine Protection to get a reduced 40% magic damage coming in. So for fights that are heavy in magic damage, whether it be just burst AoE damage or just getting smacked in the face with a spell, it can help with that by being able to use it every 30 seconds. I like Clemency because you can use Hand of Sacrifice, Hand of Freedom, Salvation, Protection. You can use them all twice. That comes in handy because you can drop Hand of Salvation on a party member and then they're going to take 30% reduced damage. Like you're off tank, you can do that, they're taking less damage. So it's just a good way to help out, or if you've got a healer that's kind of getting smacked around a bit or things like that. However, when I get to glyphs, I'm going to explain to you why you have to have a certain glyph if you're going to use Hand of Sacrifice. So moving on. Level 75, those are some really good talent choices. Holy Avenger, I like that because it is a 2-minute cooldown, but everything you do, so you can use your Judgment and your Crusader Strike, you're going to get an instant 3 holy charges. So you're just going to keep rotating through using your Shield of the Righteous, which is your active mitigation. So you're going to be using that more often, getting that 25% reduction plus whatever your mastery is at the time. So you're going to keep getting that physical damage reduction. Again, it's a 2-minute cooldown, so every 2 minutes, 18 seconds, or 18 seconds every 2 minutes, you can get that going. It's a good thing to just work in, especially during heavy damage times. Sanctified Wrath, I can see why that would be important, because now you have 3 abilities that generate holy power. But I tend not to use Holy Wrath until I have a group of ads, or like maybe 2 to 3 targets. So for me, I would have to just change up how I play to use Sanctified Wrath, and I'm pretty lazy. I'm pretty stuck in my old ways. I love Divine Purpose for Ret. Yes, because it turns Ret into just the big roller coaster that it is. I've tried it for tanking. Really, you have 2 abilities that have a 25% chance to let you use the ability again. The best part about this, it can proc on itself, so you can just keep using the same thing over and over again, but you're not really given, it's not as many options or chances for it to proc, so it does seem kind of wasted. Now for level 90, again, another good set of abilities. It's really situational dependent. Holy Prism, if you got a lot of AoE damage going out, not too big damage, but just decent amounts of damage, and your raid's not too far out, Holy Prism will be a good little bit of damage to the boss or the ad that you're fighting, and it'll spread some healing out. Light's Hammer is really great if you have a cluster of ads on, or your group's pretty close together, and you can throw some decent damage down as well as some decent healing. For single target boss fights, Execution Sentence is the way to go. You're just going to drop a big hammer from the heavens on them and just let it go. You can also use it on yourself if you find yourself taking a lot of heavy damage. You're not mitigating it as well as you should be. I have that happen to myself a lot as well. The mitigation's just not balancing out right. You can use Execution Sentence on yourself and get some extra healing as well. So it's not going to hit both ads or both enemies and friendlies, but it is still pretty flexible. A great talent. Alright, level 100. Now this was a really hard choice for me. I spent a lot of time trying these out over and over again to see which one I think worked the best. And I chose Holy Shield because it is a passive ability. I don't have to think about it. I'm going to get 15% more block. I can block spells and I'm doing damage when I'm blocking. So I don't have to think about it. It just happens. Seraphim I think is amazing. However, 5 Holy Power. Now since I use Holy Avenger, I can do that. If I really wanted to go with it, I could do that. But it's expensive. 5 Holy Power for 15 seconds of God mode. Ugh. I don't know, man. It sounds great, and I've used it, and when I'm using it, it's great. It's just that build to that 5 Holy Power. It feels like it takes forever. I don't know. That seems like it's meant for later tiers in the game. I've heard that your in-game tiers or this tier of raiding gear will give you Holy Power to spare. I mean, you just be Holy Power coming out of the ears. So Seraphim, I definitely think is going to pick up then, because you're not going to know what to do with Holy Power. Empowered Seals. I think this is a great talent if you're defensively strong already. Holy Shield is definitely good for building that defensive strength. If you're already pretty well off defensively, you're not taking a whole lot of damage, you've got your mitigation down to an art, you're doing really well. I think Empowered Seals is definitely a good way to go, because you're going to get 2% of your maximum health every 3 seconds for 21 seconds. And then since you don't have Truth anymore, Seal of Truth anymore, you're going to be using Judgment of Righteousness, so you're going to get more haste, and you're going to get some healing. So now with that haste, your global cooldowns are shorter, so now you're getting more Holy Power and mitigating even better. So I think that one's more, I'm going to put that one in the more advanced category. It's a little more work because you're going to be switching your seals back and forth. I've tried it out and it's not too bad, but again, I'm not as defensively strong as I should be. I'm still gearing, I'm still working on him, so I'm sticking with Holy Shield for now. It's a passive that I don't have to think about. Alright, so now, as I said, moving on to Glyphs. Glyph of Consecrator, your consecration follows you. I think it's great. Just hit the button and walk around. Love it. Judgment, get an extra 10 yards. It's a good way to pull. You can, hit with Avenger's Shield, and you can still pull with Judgment as well. It'll help you with things that are far away, and just in general give you more range with your Judgment. Especially if you're only pulling one ad, your Avenger's Shield's on cooldown. It's just whatever. It's a good thing to have. I like it. Alright, now as I mentioned before with Hand of Sacrifice. Hand of Sacrifice originally takes the damage that person would be taking and gives it to you as the casting Paladin. So what you do is, you get this little old glyph here, and it doesn't redirect the damage anymore. So now that person's just taking 30% less damage. Love it. Great addition. Great addition. Final Wrath. A couple honorable mentions. Final Wrath getting that 50% bonus when when targets are 20% health. Also dazes the targets for 10 seconds. That's pretty good for those 5-mans. You can slow them down and silence them at the same time. If you're not using Consecrator, you can use Consecration. What that does is it just lets you throw your Consecrate. I liked that early on, but I definitely think Consecrator is better. You can just walk around, poop out Consecrations. It's hilarious. I love doing it. And then Word of Glory, you can increase your damage by 3% per stack, Word of Glory or Eternal Flame when you use it on a friendly target. I don't use it on friendly targets that often. I don't. Alright, so we talked about glyphs. Pretty simple. Paladin glyphs are easy choices. Paladin talents are hard choices, but they're all really cool and they all have their purpose. So you're really not going to make a wrong choice. You might make a choice that you decide later on you don't like, but really it's not a wrong choice because they're all really good talents. They did a really good job building the talents for Paladins. Very impressed. So just real quick, the Paladins again, because Blizz love Paladins, they have some awesome passive abilities. Starting off with, there's Pursuit of Justice, Improved Block, getting that 10% extra block because you're a tank, why not? Consecration does 50% more damage. Forbearance only lasts 30 seconds now. So you can use when you use Lay on Hands on yourself, you can use it again. You can use it again after the 10-minute cooldown. Your Forbearance is going to be gone. So you've got your Lay on Hands, and then 30 seconds you can use Hand of Protection. You can do that, or you can use your Divine Shield, and then you can use your Lay on Hands, and you can keep yourself going. Divine Shield to keep yourself alive. Hand of Protection, keep yourself alive. Lay on Hands, keep yourself alive, because it's only 30 seconds. And while you still have to wait on their cooldowns, you still only have 30 seconds between forbearances. I guess that's the point I'm trying to get across. I think I misspoke initially. Another good passive ability, you hitting 2 more targets with Avenger's Shield. Comes in handy. Excuse me. Pardon me. So some of the good passives: Sacred Duty, getting 30% more haste from everything, which means your global cooldowns are going to be shorter. So it means you're going to be building Holy Power faster, which means you're going to be actively mitigating with Shield of the Righteous more often. Love it. Awesome ability. Awesome passive. Good to have. Thank you for joining me. Alright, now here is a tricky one. This is where what you need to use stats wise comes in. Shining Protector, in a nutshell, the higher your multi-strike, the higher chance you're going to get additional healing per heal done to you. So where you get a big heal, then you're going to get additional heals stacked on top of that, not counting the multi-strikes you get from that person healing you. But those multi-strikes count towards Shining Protector as well. So you can just keep getting, one heal can end up being 4 or 5 heals. So it's really hard to kill you if you have high multi-strike. But then you're missing out on the defensive abilities. So if you're going to do multi-strike, it's definitely going to be later on when you're a little more defensively strong. So that's just throwing that out there. Multi-strike does work for Paladins, but I'm going to say, starting off, wouldn't focus on it. I'd passively get it. If something has multi-strike in it, but it also has something else you need in it, go for it. Multi-strike's not going to hurt you, but I wouldn't stack it. Definitely wouldn't stack it. So those are some of the passives. Again, Paladins have some awesome passive ability. So now we move on to what you're going to do and what cooldowns you have at your disposal. So obviously you've got your taunt. You know, we don't need to taunt. We're tanks. We're scary anyway. So you got your Avenger's Shield. That's always your pull. Judgment, huge threat builder. Judgment is an amazing threat builder. It's been the Paladin's #1 threat builder since WoW just pooped out of Pally. You know, the first time it ever did it. And then you have Crusader's Strike. Now those are single target. Judgment and Crusader's Strike, or Crusader's Strike. My goodness, try saying that one 10 times fast. Those are your single target abilities. Now to get the multi-target aggro, you've got Hammer of the Righteous. Now Hammer of the Righteous shares a cooldown with Crusader's Strike. So, but they're also, both of them are going to get you Holy Power. So both of them are going to build 1 Holy Power. Then you have your Consecration, which remember, you have Glyph. If you have Glyph of Consecrator, you're just, you know, got little consecrations following behind you. And then you have Holy Wrath. Holy Wrath's a good way to just do a little extra damage and get a little extra threat on everyone around you. And then you've got Hammer of the Wrath when they're at 20%. I mean, it comes in handy. It's just another good thing to add in. Alright, and then Execution Sentence is what I have right now. Again, that's where your level 90 talent's going to go. Just mix it in however you need to, whether it be Holy Prism, you know, whoop. That's not what I need. Holy Prism, Light's Hammer, Execution Sentence. Just roll that into what you're doing. If it's a boss, you know, you're pulling a boss, there's nothing wrong with pulling with Execution Sentence, because you can get that 1 minute cooldown started. Just right off the hop, get it started. Pulling with Holy Prism, not the best thing because no one's taking any damage. You're kind of wasting the heal. I'm gonna say stick with Execution Sentence for single target and Light's Hammer for multi-target. Holy Prism, start using that, you know, maybe to help your healers out when you get a little higher geared or something like that. But it's not going to be your best bet unless you have a lot of adds and you cast it on yourself to give yourself a decent heal and then spread the damage around. Again, that's extra stuff. That's like macros and things like that, and that's all kinds of work that we don't want to get into, right? But other than that, you're going to use your pardon me, excuse me, you're going to use your Seal of Insight to get that your 5% extra healing done, which will help with you know, your Holy Light if you're, or Flash of Light if you're using it. Word of Glory, which is going to grow because of Bastion of Glory. It's going to stack 5 times, increasing it by 17% plus your Mastery. And you know, that's going to get a good heal, which is increased by 5%. So speaking of Mastery, let's talk for a second stats. I'm kind of putting this one off. I was kind of trying not to talk it because stats are a big deal with tanks. But it's very easy to get in an interesting conversation about what stats are right and what stats are wrong. Just remember, this is basics, very basics. Okay, you know, if you found a way that's better, by all means share. But this is just basics to help people out, to help you out. You know, maybe guide you in a different direction than you were thinking before, or maybe help solidify what you already thought, or help you realize that I am not right compared to your standards and you want to do it your own way. If that's what you decide, by all means, and share that with me so I can help out too. Anyway, that disclaimer out of the way. Basic of basic, mastery. Alright? Just the #1, mastery. Because your Shield of the Righteous is your #1 mitigation. It's going to have 25% physical damage reduction. Stacking Mastery gets you that Divine Bulwark. Now what that does is just boosts up, so now instead of 25%, I'm getting an additional 7%, which if I remember my math is 32%. I'm sure the fingers and toes out real quick. Yep, that's 32%. Okay? 11% more to my Bastion of Glory. So now instead of 17%, I'm getting 28% increased heals multiplied by 5, and increases my chance to block by 15%. So now I'm getting more block. So you see how just mastery is a basic add-on, just basic. Stack it up, and it helps. Never hurts to have a lot of mastery. That's why when you're doing anything on your own, you're going to use Blessing of Might to get the extra mastery. But of course, if you're in a raid or a dungeon, you're probably going to have most of your buffs. All right, now to sprinkle in some additionals. Haste, as I said before, is going to lower your global cooldown, allowing you to use your holy power generating abilities more often. So you're going to build more holy power, then you're going to be able to use your active mitigation more often, which is Shield of the Righteous. So you're going to be using that more often, getting that damage reduction more often. Okay? Now you're going to get, I'm only at like 6% haste right now, but don't forget we've got you know, all the buffs you get from raids and stuff. I usually end up at about 11, or about, I think 8% is usually what I end up with, which isn't too bad. I can get higher, obviously my gear, you know, what, 625, that's nothing. And then you have multi-strike. Okay, so now remember, your multi-strike, boop boop, opening that up because of Shining Protector, gets you more heals. All the heals you receive, including multi-strikes, have 2 chances equal to your multi-strike chance to trigger Shining Protector, healing you for an additional 30% of the triggering heal. In layman's terms, you getting more heals. You'd be getting heals a lot. Okay, so having higher than average multi-strike is going to bring more heals in your way. I would say pick one. Okay, for starting out, just pick one. Do you want the haste? I'm going to say haste is probably your best bet starting off, so you can generate your holy power and be more self-sustaining. Having multi-strike later on, because your heals are going to be coming in more, you're going to be, or you know, if you're in a core raid team or something like that and you trust your healers, having higher multi-strike is going to help you out because your heals are going to be there because you trust that they're going to be there, and it's just going to increase the amount that's coming in. So you can take a little more damage because you're getting healed a whole lot more. It's balancing out that way. And you can focus on other things because multi-strike's also going to help you in some of your attacks and your abilities as well. Alright, so, oh yeah, and you're a tank, so bonus armor. I'm sorry, do I have to say that? I probably should. Bonus armor, number one, definitely number one, bonus armor. I always forget that. Yeah, bonus armor. Bonus armor. Did I say it enough? I think I said it enough. Okay. And last but not least, cooldowns. What is a tank without cooldowns? First off, let's start with some of our simpler cooldowns. Excuse me again. I apologize, my throat is dry as a bone tonight. Holy Avenger, as I discussed before, is one of my favorite cooldowns. 2 minutes, I get 30% more damage from my holy power generating abilities, and they all generate 3 holy power. Amazing cooldown every 2 minutes. With the average boss fight lasting between 4 and 8 minutes, you can use it a good couple times and keep yourself going, especially because a lot of times there's a tank swap. So, use it during the initial points of your tank swap, and you can get a nice bit of physical damage mitigation while your heals are adjusting, getting the old tank up and keeping you alive. Sacred Shield, it's only a 6-second cooldown, but it lasts 30 seconds. You're going to be using it periodically, and you know, doubling up on it or just, you know, refreshing it regularly, it's not going to hurt you or anything. It's just it's another thing you're doing. If you have a nice rotation in with it, where you know every 10 seconds you hit this button because you have nothing else to do or you're waiting for something else, you know, when you're waiting for your cooldowns, hitting it again, not going to hurt anything. Alright, for your 1 minute cooldown, Divine Protection reduces magical damage by 20%. Now there is a glyph that can reduces that amount by 20%, so you're taking 20% less magical damage, but you're also taking 20% less physical damage. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to find the glyph, but it is out there. That is all fight dependent. If you're not taking a lot of magical damage, you're taking a lot of physical damage, it doesn't hurt to have that. It's just a 20% reduction just right off the top. Great thing to have. Nope, 3 minute. Ardent Defender reduces damage taken by 20% for 10 seconds. And the next attack that would otherwise kill you instead causes you to be healed for 12% of your maximum health. It is your get out of jail free card, or your get out of crap free card, so to speak. Alright, you use this, you won't die. Best way to put it. It is your oh crap, I'm not dying, cheat death button. Another 3 minute cooldown. Guardian of the Ancient Kings basically reduces damage taken by 50%. You see what the Paladin can do? It's not as defensively strong, but there's a lot of things it can do to either reduce damage taken or increase the heals that they're getting. That is what I like about the Paladin. It is very versatile. It can put out some heals, it can put out some damage, it can be defensively strong. It's super fun to play, and it's really shiny. I like shiny things. I like shiny. And then your big 5 minute Divine Shield. Yes, your Divine Shield. Big old, I'm taking 50% less, or I'm not taking any damage, but I'm dealing 50% less damage. You know, that's one of your first go-to oh crap buttons. I would say definitely go to Divine Shield first, and then lay on hands. You're probably going to lose aggro when you use Divine Shield though, so be careful. 30 seconds later, you can use Lay on Hands. 30 seconds later, if you're still getting your face kicked in, at this point you're probably gonna wipe, or yeah, you're probably gonna wipe, or most people are gonna die. But you can still use Hand of Protection, and since you took Clemency, you can use it on yourself and a healer and maybe survive. Maybe, I don't know. It's a good way to try. But that's pretty much it. Don't forget you got your Repentance like I chose. Good CC pre-pull. You got your 2 heals, Flash Flight, Word of Glory. They can keep you going because you're going to be using Shield of Righteous, getting Bastion of Glory. You can use it on yourself. Sometimes it's better to get a heal instead of a damage reduction. If you can pop your health back up there a little bit to help your healers out, I'm sure you can find a way to reduce damage even quicker. I would say when in doubt, you can throw a heal out and then go back through and do damage reduction. Okay, especially in your 5-mans. In your raids, not so much. When you're 5-mans, you might need to keep yourself alive for long enough to do more damage reduction. But if you're healing yourself too much, you might want to start popping some cooldowns because it's going to start hurting soon. Okay, but that's pretty much it. Very quick look at the Protection Paladin. Again, Shining Protector, big old holy shield in your face. I really think they're fun. It wasn't too hard to level one. Definitely going through the early 90 dungeons, it was pretty smooth transitioning because you can keep yourself alive pretty well. Alright, so get out there, have some fun with your Prot Pally, join the ranks of the tanks, and I will see you next time. Alright.